Starfield has been out for a year now, and we are going to talk about how it has been updated and what the future holds. Welcome to the Starfield with Normal People podcast. All right, well, welcome to episode 41 of Starfield with Normal People. My name is Michael, and as always, I am here with Duane.
Hey there, everyone. How are you doing this week, Michael?
I'm doing pretty good. I gotta say, at one time, the Starfield's Shattered Space expansion felt so far away.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a few weeks away.
Honestly, I'm not ready. I'm still discovering so much new content. I mean, granted, I'm a slower than average player. I'm just savoring Starfield, and I'm treating it like I treated Fallout 4, this has been a 5-year exploration of maybe even longer. I don't even know when Fallout 4 came out, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
So I am treating Starfield exactly like that. And now that they keep adding stuff, for example, the Rev 8, which, by the way, it's written on the side of the vehicle what REV stands for. I don't know if anyone knew that or not. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
A few people did.
Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, it stands for a radioactive ectoplasmic vehicle. Okay, so I wanted to get that straight to everyone out there. No, not really. It stands for Retrievable Exploration Vehicle. We 100% knew that. We were just playing.
We were testing. We were testing you guys.
That's right.
Yeah,
we were testing you guys. But I am enjoying just driving around in that thing. Like the last couple times I've been playing, I decided to add my controller, which I'm holding up for the benefit of you, Michael, to see my Xbox controller. And
nice.
Because I'm like, now that I have a vehicle that I'm driving around a lot more, I'm going to move to the controller. I'm going to treat this more like a true GTA style video game where I just hop in my Rev 8 and explore.
Well, and the other day I realized, so I love to take photos. Like I love to take photos in the game, and usually either landscape or I do, action shots. And I realized the other day after I had, a ship had landed, it was Ecliptic Mercenaries, and I had driven, I basically went bowling. They were all grouped together. It was so wonderful. They were walking all together as a group.
Yeah.
And they just didn't see the Rev 8 coming. And it wasn't
the Starborn do that too. They kind of all walk single file to hide their numbers.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And it wasn't until after I had mowed them down and then went back a couple times that I was like, man, if I had paused right when I rammed into them, that would have made an amazing photo. So now I'm going to be on the search for another ship to land, another grouping of enemies. So we'll get that.
It's going to be like one of those bowling animations when you get a strike. You're going to go to a bowling alley. You're going to see the Rev 8 just take out a whole group of Ecliptic.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would hope so.
Yeah. Someone needs to make that clip, add that sound effect, and send it to us. Please.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a race because if I get to it first, it'll be me.
I'll take all the ones I can.
If you can do it, that's great. Nope, Duane is right. Anyone who can run over, get a clip of you taking the Rev 8, running over some enemies, put the pins sound effect.
Now I'm thinking
we'll do a whole montage of that.
We need a montage. Yeah, I'm thinking what's the thing that's on the front of a train, a cow catcher, I think is the technical name for it.
Yeah, I think they call that.
They need to make a Rev 8 mod with a cow catcher on the front.
That'd be fun.
Just kind of scoop.
Or like a snow plow.
Yeah, to kind of just scoop those people right out of the way.
You did hit on the fact that the Rev 8 is fun to just play around with. And one of the things I had mentioned to our Discord is that at first I was just driving it around. And then it hit me that, then going back and replaying certain missions with the Rev 8, it's just interesting how it sort of alters the gameplay.
Right. It does feel like a different game for me. I mean, I guess probably because it's a new toy and I'm using it a lot, but it's fundamentally
Yeah.
changed how I've played the game. And I've actually read that in our Discord from other people saying the same exact thing. It's added so much to the game that it's changed the gameplay. It's changed the entire feel of the game. And who would have thought? I was not expecting this kind of change when they announced the transportation.
Like,
We were.
they said new ways to travel.
Mhm.
I had kind of hoped for something like this, but I agree that I wasn't expecting it. I will say, for fans of the vehicle, like ourselves, there could be something very exciting on the horizon. In
Yes.
fact, as soon as probably the end of this month. So, in a data leak, people have recovered file names and also basically silhouettes. So there's a little image, it's like a little JPEG silhouette of 3 different vehicles, including the Rev 8. So
Ooh, I have not
when
heard
the
this.
Rev 8, when the Rev 8 came out, people noticed in the description it said something along the lines of it's an all-rounder. So it's like medium armor. So basically it adds like a percentage to your armor when you're in it. So it's like medium armor, medium, turret damage or something along those lines. And this led many to believe, probably accurately, that other vehicles, some will be slower and have more armor, some will be faster, maybe. That's exciting to me.
Yep. You're going to get a tank. You're going to get the medium one, which we already have. And then you're going to get the sleek, fast one, which will probably float. I did see a modded, it looked like a teardrop. And it was just like a vehicle that you would fly around, no wheels or anything. So perhaps it'll be something like that, kind of a sleek, futuristic, aerodynamic and a little bit faster, perhaps.
I can tell you right now that based on the file names, it appears that one of the vehicles will be a Varun-specific vehicle.
Yeah.
And then the other one seems to have the word demo in it. So I'm assuming it's a Demos vehicle, like branded vehicle.
Does this mean we'll see these vehicles out there that aren't bound to the player, right? Like random NPCs driving around.
But yeah, you had mentioned this on our last podcast, basically the idea of like NPCs driving around or enemies. And I agree with you, like this is something that I really hope happens.
It doesn't have to be GTA like 100 or a dozen cars. It could be one other car, because I do think it's important to the game lore that you're not special in that regard of like being the only one in the universe that has access to a vehicle. That doesn't seem right in the lore of the game, but I understand it from a gameplay and a performance standpoint.
I did see some interesting thoughts on this where people had talked about the fact that, like cities, there aren't many big cities. And I saw people complaining, I mean, obviously from a design standpoint, that's just the Bethesda, that's the way they do things, is like they generally have smaller cities. But there is lore for it as well, because every time they start to, like a city starts to really grow, they have increased terramorph attacks, being one of the big mysteries that is in the game, which you do find out why, but I'm not going to spoil it. Basically, they realized that because of space travel and because they built these, like the ability to make habs and like, small settlements, that's why everything is so spread out. So that's the lore there, that why there aren't big cities, because there's no need for them anymore. When you can just have a small settlement somewhere and then quickly zip over to, wherever else. And so this kind of does feed into the lore of why they're like vehicles just aren't very popular, especially when you have boost packs and stuff. Again, though, I agree, like it would be nice. Like, the game already has this amazing like draw distance, right? Like, I think I was so amazed when the game first came out, when I would go up on a hill or on a mountain and see animals like so far in the distance.
Right.
Like that was very impressive to me. Like it made the world feel more alive.
And this
So
was
now
on
imagine,
Xbox too. Can you adjust the draw
yeah,
distance on Xbox?
no,
Okay.
no. So you can't adjust that. You just have like, you can do performance mode and graphics mode now.
Mm-hmm.
But even with performance mode, you see like creatures and stuff way in the distance, just
Right.
little specks doing their thing. And it makes the world feel more alive. But now, to your point on the vehicle, imagine being up on that mountain and seeing dust kicking up in the distance because there's a vehicle driving across the sand. Like
Right.
that would be very cool.
I do think it would be fun to intercept, a bad guy in a vehicle as well. However,
Yeah.
that's going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, just using your top-mounted laser or whatnot, or just kind of ramming them into something to disable their vehicle.
Well, and then imagine now that vehicles have like just a little bit of storage on them.
Mm-hmm.
So like you want to intercept those because they might be carrying something.
Ooh, yeah. Didn't think of that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
They might even be carrying Astra.
Yeah, I think in our notes I said, Michael, could you give me like an Astra for Dummies summary? Essentially, like I understand kind of what it is, like a monetary reward for like the Trackers Alliance. Is that right?
Yeah. So essentially, there's someone there's someone named Stash at the Trackers Alliance, and you can actually collect these items called Astra. And this was sort of like a currency.
It looks like a bar of silver, right? If I'm looking at it in my inventory.
It looks like a bar of silver, honestly, and it reminds a lot of people of the like the Mandalorian. They have Beskar that he collects and being right. So it's similar. It kind of has that feeling to it. For me, it reminds me of like the gold coins in John Wick.
Right.
Like they have their own currency. It's like a secret organization. But in the game, yeah, if you find Astra, you can essentially take it to this guy at the Trackers Alliance named Stash. And
he's the only the only vendor in the game that it can exchange it. Is that right?
Yeah, as far as I know, currently he's the only one that will take Astra.
He's in the headquarters on Aquila City, or where is he?
In Aquila.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
In Aquila, Trackers Alliance. And what you do is if you give him 1 Astra, he will give you a rare item. 2, he'll give you an epic item. And 3, he will give you a legendary item. So the way I do it is I always save up until I have 3 or more, and then I go and get legendary items.
It could be it could be a weapon, it could be a helmet, it could be a boost pack.
Yeah, and in fact, he used to, every time he would give me an armor, it used to be only like, I just kept getting the Trackers Alliance armor. And what was really nice is in the recent update, when they added new armors, which we made a video about, they actually really boosted the variety. Because now he's giving out like Varun stuff, like everything.
Nice.
So yeah, if you're looking for more legendary stuff, save up the Astra.
And of course you can save scum that, right? Just try to get an item that you want.
Yeah. And it's crazy because when I made the video where I was showing off there was a new like red armor and yellow armor, which they added in the Rev 8 update. What was funny was because of that new variety, I had to save scum a lot. I mean, terrible. I sat there like,
you're a dedicated man,
here you
Michael.
go, 3 Astra. And the thing is, it's like, I saw comments and it was like, oh, that's not worth it for me to get this armor. And in my mind, I'm like, well, it was worth it for me because I was making a video about the armor. So.
Oh, even if you didn't make the video, you probably would have done it though, right? Because
I would have done it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and yeah. I don't mock you or blame you for that because you want the cool armor set. I get it. It's like, you're a completionist in that regard, and you like it. So why not?
I am one of those players where if there's something that I really want to either collect or accomplish, like I get laser focused on that one thing.
Dude, thank God you never started WoW, World of Warcraft, we would have never seen you
That
again, because to be a
that would have,
completionist in that
yeah.
game is, I mean, there's not enough hours in the day to do that.
Yeah. That probably, WoW would have ruined my life.
Absolutely would have. Well, cool. So Astra, I was going to say, where does it drop from? Is it like a very tiny percentage could drop from
Oh,
anything, or where do you get it?
yeah, I got to tell you, I definitely became an expert while doing this video and afterwards during the comments. Like there were comments that kind of helped me out. Basically, the way you get it is if you look for bounties. So open up your scanner when you go into the city or a settlement,
Mm-hmm.
and you might see people that are showing up as red in your scanner. Those are bounties. You can settle those bounties either killing them or stunning them, or you can actually convince them to turn themselves in.
Right.
So you settle those bounties. If you kill them, sometimes they have an Astra.
Okay.
And so that's one way. Another way is any POI basically at the end of that path, like as you explore a POI, usually there's what they call a boss chest. So, it's those chests that have like the special items.
Right.
Sometimes those will have an Astra. And that was where I mainly got mine. But then the comments were telling me something, and I kind of knew this, but basically if you have a good ship that can stun enemy ships and you can board them, apparently that's a really good way to farm Astra, because when you board these ships, like you check the captain's locker and all that stuff, apparently they usually carry Astra, I guess.
What's your feelings on whether or not they will expand Astra beyond just stash giving you legendary weapons and armor? Will there be, because I mean, you're saying farming, that makes me think of something you do over and over. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a limit to whatever legendary gear you want to get, I guess.
Yeah.
After a while. So could there be a longer term use for Astra above that?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I have two thoughts on this. Number one is the easiest thing is that eventually they bring you another person that will take Astra and give you something else or give you some other benefit. So it could be interesting if the Shattered Space DLC has someone in the Varun homeworld that will take Astra. But I haven't even
World of Warcraft. If it's like that game, they'll come up with a new currency that you have to collect for that one. And Astra is,
probably.
Forgotten about. Maybe not.
Well, that's what's funny is, and I will get back to my other Astra idea, but what's funny about that is Elden Ring. So the Elden Ring DLC came out, and I already knew they were going to do this because they had announced it ahead of time, but some people weren't paying attention, I guess. A lot of people had very high level characters, very powered up. And they went into this DLC not knowing that the DLC was going to require you, like what you're talking about, this new currency. There was a new way of leveling up, unique to this area. And
starting from
they
zero.
did that. Yeah, they did. I mean, it makes sense to me. They did that so you couldn't just like
waltz through it,
go in with a high level. Yeah, like come on, that wouldn't. How fun would that be? But apparently, this made it very challenging. But yeah, you got to level up in that way. So I agree. I'm fully expecting this new DLC to have some sort of new power set, or some other new ability, right? And then you can only farm it in that world. But yeah, I would say my other idea for Astra that I think would make it way more interesting and give the people what they want is use the Astra as similar to the Mandalorian, use it as a crafting item to save legendary traits. So basically in the game, the Division 2, you can actually collect a gun, and if you don't like the gun but you like just one trait on it, you can destroy the gun and bank the trait and apply it to another weapon that you do like. Now imagine that you use Astra to like melt down these armor and weapons to keep
Right.
that one trait that you like so that you can put it onto another one.
Ooh, I like that.
Like,
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
great
that
idea.
would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would love
there's
that.
no way to transfer a really good trait. You just have to, again, try
Yep.
to get a weapon that has that trait that you like the
You
rest
just
of
have to
the,
find it.
Mhm.
Yep.
Which probably would take forever.
And that's the thing is like Astra's super rare, so that still balances the game because it's not easy to do. Like you still have to find it. You still have to destroy that weapon. Like, there's precedent for this as well because in Skyrim, you could find an enchanted weapon and destroy it to learn that enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
So come on, like you've done it before, Bethesda. I know that it's possible.
Mm-hmm. We had an amazing 1-year Starfield anniversary event in our Discord, Michael. What was it, last
Yeah, we
Friday
did.
night?
Last Friday.
Super fun.
Yeah,
We were hanging out
a lot of fun.
with a lot of the OG crew and quite a few people in our Discord. Was a lot of fun. So
It was really great. Like we some of us were playing Starfield, we're all playing our own game. Some of us were watching other people's streams of Starfield. So yeah, right there in our Discord, so much fun, and we all just chatted, we just hung out.
mm-hmm.
It was a good event. We talked about Starfield, talked about everything that's happened over the last year, and
Mm-hmm. The best part of it is just kind of seeing the community up close that we've built over the last year, and that
yeah,
not that we've built, that the community's built, and
Yeah.
kind of seeing it and hearing it for the first time was quite a thrill. So thank you to all of our Discord people.
Yeah, thank you to everyone that made it out. If you didn't make it, we do want to do more of these hangouts. So we definitely want to schedule more of those and make sure we hang out with you. Can I just say, you know what it felt like? There were times where someone from our Discord would like ask you or I a question, or like, what do you think about this thing in Starfield?
Mm-hmm.
As we were having that conversation, I was like, oh wow, this is like, it feels like the podcast. It feels like a podcast that we're doing with all of you guys. Like that was what was really cool about it, was it felt like a sort of a live exclusive podcast episode where everyone that was hanging out with us they were the hosts. Like it was cool.
Really, absolutely. And you were playing Starfield live and taking a few criticisms from.
Yeah, which
all. No, I mean that in a good-natured way. It was kind of funny. It was like, why are you doing that? It was
so funny. Well, it was so funny because Cherry Bomb had mentioned this power that I wasn't using called Sunless Space, where you can freeze enemies and they just freeze and they fall over. And basically then I was using it to torture ecliptic mercenaries. And it was so funny to hear some of the reactions from people as I was probably committing war crimes in Starfield.
You mentioned Cherry Bomb.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Sam Coe, who is her favorite companion, by the way?
Absolutely. So, number one, we can't take credit for this, but Cherry Bomb is a vital member of our community, and she's actually, as we know, she's taken over announcing the Starfield Adventure Club Planet or Moon of the Week.
Yes.
She's been doing a great job, and Rampage American X reached out to us.
He did indeed, yeah. As a matter of fact, as a thank you to Cherry Bomb, he did this.
Hi, this is for Cherry Bomb RN to be specific. This is from Brett, and my name is Elias, and I play Sam Coe in Starfield. And I hear you're a big fan of Starfield, which is awesome. You're probably a big fan mostly because of Sam Coe, which is what I think everybody is a fan of it, is mostly because of Sam Coe. Not because of any of the cool designs or any other characters or anything, but mostly Sam Coe. It should be called Sam Coe the Game. It should be me doing every voice of every character. But that's just me. That's just what I think. But Brett wanted to say thank you for helping them out with the Normal People podcast, or helping the Normal People podcast team, And I hear you run a Starfield Adventure Club on Discord or something. That's pretty cool. In fact, if you hit me up on social media, I'll record like the intro for your podcast if you want. Or not your podcast, but your adventure club. I don't even know what an adventure club is, so I don't even know if you need an intro. But it's very cool that you have a Starfield anything, and I feel like I want to say thank you myself. So thank you, Jared Baum. And I hope you're having a good day. I don't know if you're in Los Angeles like I am, where it is currently 114 degrees, and I should stop doing this cameo before I melt. But thank you. All the best. Enjoy Starfield. More is coming. More stuff is coming. More Sam Coe stuff is coming. Enjoy.
So there you have it. That was so fun to listen to. I mean, his voice, and by the way, that is Elias Toufexis, who is the actor who voices the Sam Coe character. And boy, that voice, it's kind of like Liam Neeson. It kind of has this like raspy, deep, sensuous nature to it.
It is an amazing voice. I was just gonna say that the thing that's amazing about him is we've seen, like, Sam Coe is a great character. I'm not criticizing the character, but he is a very flawed character in that, like, we see lots of criticisms about him as a parent and whether or not he's a good dad or not. But the best characters have flaws. But I think it's because of Elias's voice that, like, people easily forgive Sam Coe's transgressions. Have just like as soon as he starts talking, you're just like, all right, Sam.
His voice is a beautiful lullaby. I just want to like have him read stuff, and then I just fall asleep to it. It's amazing. It looks like he had just got done at the gym or something, and he's sitting in his car. But it's
or
awesome.
I think it was just like really hot. I think he mentioned it's like
straight
super
up sweating
hot in LA.
Yeah,
which we understand, being from Las Vegas.
Shout out to Brett, aka Rampage American X, for buying that cameo for Cherry Bomb, and he had reached out to us and said, "Hey, I want to do this for Cherry Bomb," and we're like, "Absolutely." She does so much for the Discord.
We want to thank everyone involved, but especially Rampage American X for putting this together.
Yep, well deserved for Cherry Bomb, and again, a thrill to see and hear Elias. He was funny. He was like, the game should be about Sam Coe. Sam Coe should be the main character.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up one thing that came to mind when we were talking about Shattered Space. We had talked about it in terms of like the vehicle and stuff. I did see a piece of information come out recently that confirmed, for anyone that is, are fans of like the New Game Plus and how that works in Starfield. So without giving too much away, there are things that happen in New Game Plus where you can actually say something else, in certain situations. You might have another dialogue option, basically.
Right.
Being through New Game Plus. Well, basically they confirmed that mechanic will also apply to this DLC.
Oh, nice.
So essentially, if you do Shattered Space and then you do New Game Plus and come through again, you will see some different options there.
A little incentive to go ahead and go through the Unity and become Starborn before you go into Shattered Space. Duane, sheesh, still hanging out.
I had the opposite effect where I was like, oh no, like, because I haven't done Shattered Space, because it's not out yet, I don't want to see those options. Apparently, so this was confirmed by people in certain subreddits and whatnot. They said that apparently if you played the game, but let's say you didn't do the pirate faction quest, the game knows that. So even if you do New Game Plus, they are claiming, I haven't seen it myself, but they're claiming that you won't have those options to be like, oh, I've been here before. Like, because the game knows you haven't. So I am holding out hope because I have a character that's like new game +6. I didn't want to take them into brand new DLC and have them be like, oh, I've been here before. No, you haven't.
I see. Okay.
So I guess
sense.
that won't happen. Yeah, I guess they saw that. But I got to tell you, Duane, I think I'm going to, because this is the character that I've had over the past year. I've had it since the beginning. I'm going to take this character. I'm going to do Shattered Space. And I think I'm going to retire that character.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I think after Shattered Space, I want a character. There's something about starting fresh, you know?
You got to do what Oliver did in his comic, which is to retire his character, right?
Yeah, Oliver did that. And then recently we had Space Cadet in the Discord.
That's right.
He had some mods, I think, created some issues in his character and basically made it irrecoverable. And
he worked it into the lore of his character.
He did sort of like a nice send-off, and he made this cool video, and so yeah, very cool way to sort of say goodbye to a character and start a new one. I'll have to do something.
So yeah, Tim Lamb also released a few more details about the DLC and basically said that obviously new weapons, gear, items, and more will be available. And I thought this was interesting. Players will be able to drive the new Rev 8 anywhere on Varun Kai, which is the name of the new planet in the expansion. So I think we kind of assumed that, but to get actual, word passed down from Mount Sinai directly. Yeah, now we know.
We've already seen that those bubbles that in the trailer seem to be like pockets of like gravitational anomalies, right? So I'm excited to be able to drive through those bubbles and get like a little gravity boost, like a little weightlessness with the
it's like hitting the multicolored arrow in every racing game ever. You get that boost and shot forward. It'd be cool if there's something like that happened.
Can I also say these details that we're getting about how the city just had a catastrophic event? I'm very proud of us. You and I called this.
Absolutely,
in our original trailer breakdown. We noticed the candles. We noticed that the part of the city appeared to be broken. So I was pretty happy to see that confirmed.
That's right. So for all your crystal ball foretellings, please continue to listen to the Starfield with Normal People podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking of listening to cool things, we found out about Starfield Radio and starfieldradio.com, which was new to me. I know it's been out for a year, and some of you might be saying, yeah, I've known about this, but I found out about it, and last night I went to the website. It is so well done. I was blown away, and apparently it's like kind of a by the author's own admission, is like an experiment in web design and web development.
Yeah.
This gentleman named Petey. So he has created Starfield Radio, and again, in the last update, I think they added, there's something like 15 hours of content.
Yeah.
That you can listen to, anywhere from an oldies station to like a kind of conspiracy theorist talk radio channel. I found it really, really well done. So something to listen to while you're playing Starfield if you want. And I believe Nexus Mods has it as something that you can add into the game for your PC users.
Into the game. Yeah. Yeah. This is something that I'd heard of for a while now, and finally checking it out, I just found it so cool. Like, what a great labor of love for this game, and just to put yourself into the world a little bit more.
Well, it could have been really cheesy, and it's not at all. Like, it feels like really well done. I don't know if it's AI created voice acting, but it's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, very cool. That reminds me actually of, how sometimes you're walking through the city and you just catch a glimpse of like the news. The Settled Systems News Network. So basically, like, you'll hear that, and then it's like you won't really get to hear the news broadcast unless you stand there and just wait and listen. Well, somebody made a mod for New Atlantis. It's an elevator that instead of like clicking the button and it loads and you go up to the top or down to the well, it's an elevator that is like glass, and it's going up slowly to the top level and playing the radio while you're going and looking out at the landscape as the elevator takes you up. You're also listening to the news broadcast.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought,
that is
this
so
is
cool.
the kind of stuff that needs to be in the game, because it just, like, or even the transit, like, people have noticed that there's spots where the transit sort of should be on a track. And it makes me think that they maybe ran out of time. And so you click on the transit and it's just, it loads you to the next location. But imagine if you actually were in there listening to the news as it took you around the city. I would love that so much.
It's just one of those things that really fleshes out the world and makes it feel like it's a living entity of its own. And radio or news, can really add to that. I love the elevator mod. I think I want to get that.
Yeah, it looked really cool in the video I saw.
Well, we had mentioned Cherry Bomb about 1 billion times already, but when she recorded a message about the Starfield Adventure Club like 3 or 4 podcasts ago, I actually edited it down, but she mentioned Davitt Doombringer, and I wanted to give a shout out to Davitt, who creates the Odyssey Weekly. If you're interested in checking that out, it's basically a magazine that he handcrafts. It's really funny. It's brilliantly done. There's tons of
really cool
different ads and pages and stories. And come into our Starfield Adventure Club channel in our Discord, and you can see his creation there. So shout out to Davitt.
Yeah, I love it. And this is right back to, the concept of immersing yourself more in the world of Starfield. He's just taken this concept of making a magazine that's in that universe, and I love it. Like it's really good. He's made ads, like fake in-universe ads, like very, very cool.
Yeah, we're getting close to 1,000 people in our Discord, which is mind-blowing. I mean, it's you and I said from the start, like we kind of created it, and then it became its own thing and like took on a life of its own. And again, I love the community that's developed in there. So if you are looking for Starfield related community to come hang out, that's positive. Link is in our description here.
Yeah, definitely jump in. And if you've never used Discord before, it's the people there will help you out. Like just
like
click
Napster,
on the link and
kind of. Remember Napster? It's an app that you can run it on the website, or you can download an app for it. Whatever.
Yeah, you can.
It's pretty simple. If I can figure it out, you can.
Phone or if Duane.
Hey, don't laugh at that, Michael. That's rude.
That's funny. That's funny.
Michael always has to suffer through all my technical difficulties getting ready for this podcast. Like he's over there twiddling his thumbs while I'm struggling to get my camera working.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Duane's tech savvy.
I used to be. Then the world moved on.
Yeah. Well, as we said, we've got this amazing community, and we're always trying to find different ways to reward them with special goodies, and we actually have our Patreon. So I want to thank these new Patreon members. We've got Kai the Deer Guy, Bing Boom Bang Boom, great name by the way, Hoodoo Vane, Stems, Sasha, Silent Crisis, and Ari.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. It keeps things going, and it allows us to just keep doing more fun things. Like, for instance, we've got a new sort of a loyalty bonus that we worked in there. So at the rare and epic level, you'll get a new unique sticker once every 3 months.
Awesome. I've seen those really stickers. Cool. Those are fun. You designed them.
I did. Yeah, I did. And then as an even bigger bonus for those that are at the legendary level, those are actually t-shirts. So that's what's kind of really, really fun is like supporting the Patreon. Not only do you keep the podcast and the channel going, but you're going to get a new t-shirt every 3 months.
Yeah.
So very
and
cool.
Shout out to Kai the Deer Guy. We actually got to know him a little bit better in the anniversary event.
We want to thank our legendary members, which are Bing Boom Bang Boom, Bergenstock, Brian Rousseau, Space Cadet, Kittlehara, Rampage American X, Cherry Bomb RN, Griffin, and Zegra Rocks.
Mm-hmm. And thanks to everyone that listens on Spotify, Apple, and thank you to those watching on YouTube. All links are provided in the show notes below.
Extra special thanks to comments and feedback. If you have a comment, suggestion, or an in-game story to share, you can leave a comment on our YouTube page.
If you like the show, nay, if you love the show, consider dropping a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That would really help us out.
Yes, it would. Thank you for traversing the Starfield with us, and make sure you subscribe because we will be back for more.
See ya.